So just to let you know a little bit about myself and what brings me to this work, I was an English learner student, so we did not speak English at home. So I learned English at school, and I had teachers who really just supported me, went above and beyond to make sure that I had everything that I needed, even with the limited resources that they had. And they did that not just in the first few years of me attaining the language, but all throughout K to 12. To be able to support me and help me reach my potential. And so that is what inspired me to want to be a teacher myself. I came up to Boston to go to BU, School of Ed, and then I stayed as an ELA and ESL teacher. I was a teacher for 15 years. I actually taught middle school for 8 years and high school for 7 years. So I'm very excited to speak about middle school today because it's very close to my heart. I then moved into school-based administration. And then I moved to the Office of English Learners and district offices in Boston. I was an EL instructional specialist. Then I was the executive director overseeing instruction for the district for English learners. And then I was the assistant superintendent of the Office of English Learners. Again, kind of going back to my roots in supporting students who English was their second language. And then before coming here, I was the superintendent of the Everett Public Schools. And now I'm very excited to be here as part of the Brockton community. And one of the reasons that I am excited to be here is because the vision and mission of Brockton Public Schools is very close to my own philosophy of education, to provide equitable access to rigorous instruction, to celebrate the diversity of our students. We have students who are coming from all walks of life, all different countries, have different language backgrounds, and it's just so amazing to be a part of that and to build positive relationships with our students so that they have the ability to have high levels of academic instruction and social emotional instruction as well. So these are all the things that helped me to be successful in school, and so again, I'm very excited to be here in a district that is committed to these priorities as well. So I'm sure you have heard that one of our big commitments as a district is towards proficiency in ELA and math. We have made a goal for ourselves that we would like all students at the end of 5 years to be 90% of our students to be proficient in ELA and math. We are 2 years into that, so we have 3 years to go. And I think this is a great goal for the entire school district because it allows all of the educators, all of the school leaders, all of central offices to make sure that we're all focused on outcomes for our students and that we really are making sure that this is at the heart of every single thing that we do. So one of our main focus for these upcoming years, or foci, is literacy. We do believe that the reading is a civil right, that it is our pathway to freedom. So ensuring that our students have the ability to read allows them their independence, allows them to be members of society. And so this is very important to us to make sure that our students are reading on grade level. And our instructional priority, which is very much similar at all grade levels, is to make sure that we are planning and facilitating learning that is rooted in high quality curricular materials, that is, like I said, grade level. We want to make sure that we are using appropriate scaffolds for our students to ensure that they have access to the curriculum and to engage them with complex texts, oral language, and writing. And we also want to make sure that we are always focusing on growth, proficiency, and narrowing the gaps that do exist for our students who are learning English as a second language and our students who are on IEPs. So what we are striving for is, again, consistent opportunities to grade level assignments. We want strong instruction that allows our students to do most of the thinking in the lesson. So when we talk about scaffolds, what we are talking about is making sure that our students have access, but we also want to take away those scaffolds over time to make sure that our students have the ability to do the work themselves. So we call it something called productive struggle, where, as you see a student struggling with work, you don't want to just give them the answer answer. You want to allow them that time to be able to struggle with it. You want to maybe prompt them with questions or support them and guide them rather than just kind of doing the work for them. So that's something that we focus on. We also want to make sure that students are deeply engaged in what they're learning, so making sure that we're providing opportunities that are authentic and meaningful to them, and holding all of our students to high expectations. So the Mass DESE curriculum frameworks, if you go to the DESE website, and this will be posted, this slide deck will be posted on the website. Last night's was posted, and the same link is in it. And I did just want to draw your attention to the framework family guides. So if you click on this link, it'll take you right to that page where it has them by grade level, and it has them in multiple languages. And these family guides are actually very family friendly, so they take you through by grade level, so this is just a snapshot, some of the things that you can talk to your students about, some questions that you can ask, what your child will be learning in different subjects. So it really is a really interactive and family friendly guide. And so I just wanted to draw your attention to it. It also takes you through, for each specific grade level, what your students are going to be learning in English language arts, in science, technology, and engineering, history and social science, and in mathematics. So I won't read all of these to you, but I do encourage you, again, they're in all languages so that you can go on and see. And these are just some snapshots of what you would see, but you would actually, it has a lot of different information, questions to prompt at the end of the school year, at the beginning of the school year. It tells you what you should expect your child will have learned by the end of the school year, so what they'll be doing all school year and where their outcome should be at the end. So some things to expect in middle school is that now all of our students have the opportunity to access Honors Academy. So it used to be that that was only accessible at a few schools, but the school district did make the effort to ensure that all schools have an Honors Academy. So students do have to, get into the Honors Academy and go through that process, but at least it is available at all of the different middle schools. Also, there are National Junior Honor Society chapters at each of the middle schools. All middle school students receive 90 minutes of math a day, and also they can take advantage of intramural sports and clubs at their schools. So a little bit different than at the elementary level where they may have like after school or extended day. At middle school is you'll have more intramural sports and different clubs at the different schools. Also, our students do utilize Chromebooks during the school day, but just something that might be a little bit different this year is that the Chromebooks may not always come home. One of the things that the middle school teachers are working on is ensuring that we are even helping to minimize the screen time. So they do spend a lot of time on their Chromebooks during the school day. So, allowing them an opportunity to really interface with, actual hard materials during the evening, give them a break from that screen time. So you won't always, if you're wondering why the Chromebook isn't always coming home, that's why. And also in our middle school, similar to in our high school, while we're not locking up the phones in pouches, if you do go to our middle schools, you will see that the cell phones are stowed away, which we think is a very healthy practice that hopefully will, as we've seen, translate into the high school experience. On ELA and math and focusing on academic proficiency, but we also do want to educate the whole child. Like I said, we want engaging opportunities for our students, and that includes, academics, but that also includes their physical health and well-being. So our students in middle school do have access to physical education and health. They still, just like in elementary school, will have an opportunity to express their creativity through through art and general music. Also, a thing that they have at the middle schools that maybe you won't see at elementary school is their ability to explore and have access to world languages. And then also, in all of our grades, we have been making a concerted effort to ensure that our students are supported socially and emotionally. So the district has been working with a curriculum called Character Strong, really trying to be mindful of how our students are feeling, how they're putting words to their feelings, how they're able to manage what they are feeling during the day, giving them strategies, but then also not just about how they themselves are feeling, but also how they're interacting with others. So our main outcomes with Character Strong are to be kind, and to be well. That's what we're hoping for our students to take away from it. And obviously those things look a little bit different. The strategies may look different year to year or as they go from elementary school to middle school, but you know, the gist of it is the same, which is that we just want to make sure our students are taking care of themselves socially and emotionally, and being mindful of how they're feeling and how they're expressing those feelings. So also, like I mentioned, we have a very big focus on our multilingual learners. And so we do have high quality instruction for our English learners. We're very committed to servicing all of our students. We have a wide range of programming here in the district. In fact, I had the opportunity when I was in a different district to come and visit your dual language programs as a model for what we were doing in my previous district. So it's really wonderful that the Brockton Public Schools has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to dual language programming and global studies. So we really do want to focus on ensuring that our students who are learning English also maintain their ability to speak in their native language, that we're encouraging them to keep that because it is an asset to them in the future. And it also does help their literacy development even in English when they're continuing to use their first language. What I just did. It's very fast. Also, our students who are on IEPs, we are very dedicated to ensuring that they are receiving the same access to the general curriculum. So we have a lot of collaboration between our general education teachers and our special education teachers, because it's very important to us that our students have access to all of the same learning opportunities, that our learning environments are ones that are inclusive and encouraging to all kinds of learners. And then engaging with families. So we also recognize that our families are our children's first teachers, our students' first teacher, and that we really do need your partnership in order to make sure that your students are successful. You bring in expertise, you know your child. We may have expertise in education, but you are the one who knows your student the best. And we really do want to partner with you in order to make sure that your students are successful. And oftentimes what we see, and it is a natural progression, is that, you know, our families are very involved in elementary school, but as our students get older and they get more independent, which we want to encourage them to be more independent, you know, parents may take a step back. And I think that is kind of the natural progression as our students are getting older, to kind of garner that independence. However, middle school especially is such a critical time, and so we do want to encourage that our families remain involved with their schools, find opportunities to get involved, connect with your teachers. The transitional period of middle school, and I was a middle school teacher for a long time. Again, like I said, it has a special place in my heart. I'm also the mom of a middle schooler, and I know it is very different to be the teacher of a middle schooler and it is to be the parent of a middle schooler. So I fully respect what that difference looks like. And I think that because of that, it's that much more important that we partner, that our parents and our teachers are partnering in order to support our children during this very transitional time in their lives. And so some of the things you can do to support your child at home is to keep those lines of communication open. So make sure that you are talking to your child. And I mentioned this last night. I know we all have the experience of our child coming home and we saying, how was school? And they said, fine, and then want to leave it at that, or good, you know. And so asking those follow-up questions is really important, and really listening to what they're saying. Ask them not just about what they're learning, but also about the relationships that they are having with their teachers and their peers. Again, that's a great way to make sure you're connecting with them socially and emotionally, and having them practice what it is like for them to put words to some of the things that they may be feeling. by expressing it to you. So, make sure you're taking those opportunities to really talk to them, to really ask what's going on at school. And to make sure that they are advocating for themselves at school as well, that they're not just telling you that, if there's something that is concerning or you are concerned, help them talk to their teachers, help them talk to somebody at their school to make sure they're getting what they need, because I know all of our educators want our students to get what they need. And so we want to partner with you, but we also want to partner with your students, so have them talk to us. Also making sure to set aside a quiet and dedicated space for our students to do schoolwork, to support their physical and emotional wellness. So again, talking to them about what they're feeling, but also encouraging them to have some daily physical activity, outdoors, indoors. Encourage them to get involved in their activities in school. So ask about the sports that are involved or offered, ask about the clubs that are offered, and really encourage your student to be part of those clubs. I think, again, that builds a greater investment with their school. It gives you an opportunity to see your child flourish in a different way. And, it's just, again, another healthy outlet for our students. Also, monitor your child's television watching and screen time. And again, that's something that we are trying to be more mindful of as educators too, when we are sending or not sending home the Chromebook. To monitor and limit your child's social media as much as possible. So consider having the phone in a different location at night. So maybe that they'll get better sleep. They're not on their phone at night. I know that this is something I have worked with my own teenager on. It is very easy to allow them to take the phone with them, and then they're up too late, and they're on things that they don't need to be on when they should be resting their mind. But also, it's important to know, and what we've been seeing a lot in middle schools all over, is that bullying often does occur. One of the places that it is ripe is over social media, is over those text chains. And that is just kind of the reality of what we're seeing right now, is it's not just happening in school and you get to come home and not worry about it. Because of that connectivity all of the time, our students are more susceptible to it. And so that's another important reason to ask your children what is going on at school, how are their relationships with peers, but also monitoring what's going on their phones and making sure that they are themselves being kind to others, and that others are being kind to them, because this is something that we see especially in middle school. And that's why we are making a more concerted effort all through middle school and high school to take that pressure off by putting the phones away, so that our students are able to engage more with their studies, but also they can have a break from being that connected. And then also look for opportunities to expand learning. Anytime you're talking to your child, you are providing them with an opportunity to interact, to have dialogue, to have conversations and communication. That in and of itself is a learning experience. But again, if you look back at those family guides, they give you a lot of different questions that you can ask that are specifically about academics. But even when you're just out experiencing the world, or even watching the news or watching something on TV, you can ask your child, what do you think about blank? Why might someone disagree with you? What would you say to the person who disagrees with you? So just engaging them in kind of that dialogue and thinking through how they present an argument, how they think about the world around them, gives them an opportunity to learn. Also, how do you know whether to believe what someone says or what you read on the internet? What kind of evidence should you use to decide? So that's a really important conversation to have as you're watching the news, or as you are just, again, experiencing the world. One of the main things that we do all throughout school is have our students learn how to support an argument with evidence, or how to look for evidence. And I think especially in the world that we're in, where there's social media and there's all these things coming at them all the time, it's important for us to help them be critical thinkers and help them know that the evidence that we look for in texts in school, the reason we do that exercise is, again, for them to think more critically about the things coming at them in the world. And then also keep tabs on your student using Infinite Campus. So if you go to the BPS website, it will take you straight to the Infinite Campus. You can also just Brockton Public Schools Infinite Campus, and it comes right up. There are tutorials on how to sign in. I know many of you y'all are in middle school now, so you've gotten used to this portal. But the reason I bring it up tonight is to make sure that you are keeping up with the grades, because I know that that is different than what you see in elementary school, where the grades aren't necessarily kept on Infinite Campus. So that's a great way to just keep track of what's going on at school, how your students are doing. Again, a touch point to start that conversation. Also making sure to keep track of attendance, to make sure you know that your child is getting to school on time. And that's all right there in the Infinite Campus. We also have a lot of materials on our Back to School in Brockton website, so bpsma.org/welcome back. I know I keep saying this at school committee meetings and everywhere, but there's a lot of different resources on there, checklists for what you need to remember at the start of the school year. So it's a great resource to connect to. And one of the things that is also on there is our handbooks, which are available in multiple languages. And so you will be able to see the handbooks for your specific grade level. So there is a middle school handbook that is available for students. It's in multiple languages, and there are also forms that you can complete digitally. So rather than having to sign the form to send it into school, we're really asking families to fill them out digitally so that we have them at school. Finally, or not finally, one more thing after this, but we definitely encourage you to follow us on our social media. We have a Facebook page and we have an Instagram. So that's a great place to get alerts from us, to get notifications from us. So please follow us. But another way to get alerts is to sign up for our text message alerts. So I know I've signed up, I get them on my phone, so it'll be very timely. It comes right to your phone. Here are the directions in multiple languages, but you text Y or you text yes to 67587. And then you opt into the text alert system, and you'll get things like the handbook forms straight to your phone. You'll get notifications of snow days, or you'll get those very timely notifications right on your phone, where you don't have to go searching for them on the social media or on our website. And finally, I'm going to plug this every place I go, every time I'm somewhere, which is that we still have job opportunities available in the Brockton Public Schools. So please visit our school spring. And please tell anyone you know who may be looking for a job opportunity. We have paraprofessional opportunities. We have bus driver opportunities. We have a lot of different positions. And we would love for you not just to be part of the Brockton Public School family here in our community and parents of our children, but also part of our working family as well. And that brings me to the conclusion of my presentation. Again, thank you so much to those of you who are here and those of you who are watching at home. Today, I did put my email up here so that you have it for those who are watching at home. Please do feel free to reach out to me. I am responsive over email, and I do want to hear from you. And again, this isn't going to be the last opportunity. I do have a high school forum next week. That's on Monday, but also I do hope to be in your schools, in your locations, at your parent meetings, so that I have an opportunity to meet all of you personally. Also, I am happy to take questions or comments right now. There is a mic that is available. However, last night too, if you would prefer, since it's an intimate enough group, I'm happy to just speak to folks individually as well. But if there's anything that anybody would like to ask publicly that maybe folks at home might benefit from, we have a mic right there, so please feel free.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hendricks. I have 3 kids. 2 of them went through Brockton Public Schools, and I currently have a son who is in middle school starting in 6th grade. Thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful. I learned a lot. I do want to know more about the Honor Academy. So is that just assigned to every student now, or?
No, it is not. And actually, I may invite somebody up to speak more specifically to it. I'm so glad you asked, actually. We were talking about this earlier today, that we might get questions about the Honors Academy. So I am excited to introduce to you Dr. Michelle Connors, if you haven't gotten to meet her, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning for Secondary Schools.
Thank you. I don't know that I'm camera ready, but here I am. So our Honors Academy is not off, it's there's an opportunity for every student to access Honors Academy, but there is criteria that we use to first identify, right? So we have to start at a certain point, and we utilize multiple points of data, previous MCAS scores, current STAR scores, their grades on common assessments, so that we are capturing an audience. But if a parent came to me or to the principal, who they should go to first, and wanted to make a case for, I know my child hasn't met the criteria yet, but can he or she try maybe Honors Academy just English? We will never say no. What we will do, to Dr. Tahiliani's point, is really work with the family and say, here's what you can expect, and here's supports we would need to see or would hope you could provide at home as well as what we'll do at school. And so it is one of the differences over time in the last 3 years of growing Honors Academy is traditionally in Brockton, students only had the opportunity to access the Talented and Gifted program at the end of 3rd grade. And then that was it. So those 75 students started, and they went through, and then they went on to high school. There were never any additional entry points. And we know, for example, that our multilingual learners may come to us with very limited English proficiency and then take right off. But they've missed that opportunity to access Talented and Gifted. So we review data at multiple points throughout the year. So even second semester, after the Winter Star, for example, students have made growth just in those first couple of months. We try and capture them and bring them in. So we really believe in multiple opportunities, increasing access for our students with disabilities and multilingual learners, because supports and proficiency changes over time.
Is this throughout, is it reevaluated every year? Because my son is he was select, I just saw his, his schedule, and I was like, oh, you're in honors, English and math. And so is that something that gets reevaluated every year to see if they, like if he goes into 7th grade, is he automatically there?
Automatically.
Oh.
And so what we do in terms of parent notification, right? So our rising 6th graders, all the letters are put in the backpack at the end of 5th grade. We try and make it coincide with middle school assignment, so parents aren't getting bombarded at different times. And all we ask is that parents opt out if they do not want their child participating, and that's fine. There are many reasons why. So once they are in it, they stay unless a parent says, my child is struggling. We still don't do an automatic because, as you heard Dr. Tahiliani say, productive struggle is good. And it's okay. I remember as a department head of history, we talk about AP and IB. You may see your child struggle like you've never seen them struggle before. We used to get straight A's without, blinking an eye. This should be challenging. In Honors Academy, all of our coursework should be challenging. New learning is challenging, and so that's okay. So we really try and engage in those conversations.
Thank you. And is that being applied in high school as well?
So in high school, we do have criteria, if you will. Again, if you are in Honors Academy coming out of middle school, you're a rising 9th grader, you are automatically placed in honors level classes in grade 9. You have selection in terms of electives and so forth, but English, math, science, and social science, you are automatically placed in those. Again, students can say, I know I did well in math, I'd rather not start high school at the honors level, so there's a lot of flexibility, but we don't make those determinations on a student should move down because of some certain number. You've demonstrated that ability, even if your grade is showing you're not doing too well, you have the capacity to handle that work, and it's incumbent upon the adults to support the child. And then as they continue to progress through high school, they can select advanced placement courses, international baccalaureate courses, honors level courses across every department, including our CTE, so that they have those options.
That's excellent. That's great.
They worked hard. The leaders, the team in Brockton has really worked hard to increase these opportunities for all of our students.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm hogging the mic here. I have one last question. Because my kids, when they were in middle school, this was a while ago, you mentioned something about National Honor Society for middle school, which when my daughters were coming up, I don't recall having that.
Correct. It did not exist.
Okay, so is that something you just go to your teacher about and ask about joining?
So the National Junior Honor Society it's a national organization, so there are bylaws and criteria that we have to follow. So they set a limit. We worked with our student information management team to identify, there's no GPAs in middle school, right? And that's in Honor Society at the high school level, there's GPAs. So we worked on looking at what the grades have to be, again, according to national criteria. And then similar to the high school National Honor Society, students are invited to apply to be inducted into the National Junior Honor Society. Then there's a faculty panel that has to do a blind review of those applications to then select those who are inducted. But students can, if they don't get in the first time, there's always multiple opportunities. So if you're not selected for induction in 6th grade, you will have that opportunity again in 7th grade. So grades are reviewed every year, but we are held to the national criteria for that.
Thank you. My daughter who just graduated from here, she was the president of National Honor Society. So I told her about the middle school. She's like, what?
And we're really hoping this year that we can start to make a connection between our National Honor Society students at the high school and our NJHS students at the middle schools to really start to help with that transition from grade 8 to grade 9 as well, and doing more. That community service component exists as a criteria for middle schools, and so I'm imagining our middle school and high school students coming together to do work throughout the community as part of that.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Thank you so much for asking. I know there are a lot of folks who are probably watching at home who benefited from that. And I do just want to say again, thank you we have some of our district leaders here tonight. Some are still back at the office doing the great work. And I just want to recognize all of the work that has gotten into expanding the opportunities that exist so that there are now these new and exciting opportunities at the middle school level that didn't used to be there, that there are more access points for advanced level courses. So I just want to recognize all of the hard work that's been done here in Brockton well before I got here. And it's just so great for me as an educator to be able to come in and witness, and I am so excited to be part of the team that has done it. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming. And again, I hope to get an opportunity now to come and meet you personally. So thank you for tuning in.